The first time Olivia heard the voice, it whispered from the floorboards beneath her son's room. "You forgot me." At first, she thought it was a dream. Postpartum exhaustion, maybe. But then the lights began to flicker, her son's crib moved in the night, and Olivia started finding things, tiny baby clothes she didn't recognize, hospital bracelets with the wrong date, photos she swore she never took. And the voice kept whispering, "You forgot me." Now, Olivia is beginning to believe something terrible happened. Something her mind won't let her remember. The house was quiet at 2:13 a.m., but Olivia was not asleep. She lay frozen in bed, her breath caught in her throat, listening to the soft creaking above her, the rhythmic back and forth groan of something swaying, or someone pacing. Her husband, Marcus, slept beside her, breathing in slow, heavy patterns. The baby monitor on her nightstand crackled faintly, then went silent again. Then she heard it. A voice. Not loud. Just there. Floating down from the ceiling like a whisper trapped between walls. "You forgot me." She sat up, heart thudding. The monitor remained silent. She pressed her palms against the mattress to steady herself and rose slowly, her bare feet meeting the cold hardwood floor. She didn't wake Marcus. He'd only tell her she was imagining things again. That she hadn't been herself since the baby came. That maybe she should start the medication the doctor offered. But Olivia knew what she heard. The hallway light flickered as she climbed the stairs to the nursery. A soft hum vibrated in her ears, like white noise turned low. She opened the door. The room was dim, lit by a night light shaped like a little moon. Her son, Jacob, was sound asleep in his crib, one chubby hand curled around the blanket. His breath was steady, peaceful. Everything in the room looked undisturbed. And yet, the rocking chair in the corner was moving. Slowly. Back and forth. Back and forth. Olivia's throat tightened. She stepped closer. Her hand brushed the chair. It stopped. She crouched beside the crib, brushing her fingers across Jacob's hair. His skin was warm. He didn't stir. On instinct, she glanced to the window. It was locked. The air was still. Then her eyes caught something strange on the floor. A photograph. She didn't remember dropping it. She didn't remember owning it. In the faded image, Olivia was in a hospital gown, holding a baby. But not Jacob. This baby had a birthmark above his left eyebrow, Jacob didn't. And in the background, a date flashed on a whiteboard behind her, June 4th, 2020. Jacob was born in 2022. The blood drained from her face. She stumbled back, the photo trembling in her hands. When she turned it over, words were scrawled on the back in shaky, childlike handwriting. "Don't forget me again." She staggered from the nursery, slamming the door behind her. In the hallway, the lights flickered once more. And the voice returned. Closer this time. "You forgot me." Olivia didn't sleep that night. She sat in the kitchen, trembling, staring at the photograph until the morning sun bled through the blinds. At 7:05 a.m., Marcus came downstairs with Jacob in his arms. Olivia flinched at the sound of their footsteps. "You okay?" he asked, eyeing her pale face, the dark rings under her eyes. "You look like you haven't slept." "I didn't." Her voice was hoarse. "Marcus, do you remember this?" She slid the photograph across the table. He picked it up, squinting. "Is this you? When was this taken?" "That's what I'm asking." Her voice cracked. "Look at the date. Look at the baby." Marcus frowned. "That's not Jacob. Is this from the hospital's lost and found or something?" "No, it was in the nursery. On the floor." She was gripping the edge of the table now, her knuckles white. And the handwriting, "Marcus, someone's in the house. Someone's been in Jacob's room." He looked at her gently, cautiously, like someone approaching a cliff edge. "Liv, you've been under a lot of stress. You haven't been sleeping. I know what I heard." She snapped. The voice said, "You forgot me." "It's not just in my head." Marcus shifted uncomfortably, bouncing Jacob on his hip. "You said the same thing last week, remember?" She did remember, but only vaguely, like watching a movie through frosted glass. Last week, she'd woken up screaming about someone crawling out of the walls. She'd been crying uncontrollably, holding Jacob too tight. Marcus had to pry him from her arms. The memory made her stomach churn. "Maybe we should go talk to Dr. Reynolds again," he said softly. "Just talk. You've been through a lot." She said nothing, just nodded. But in her gut, something was wrong. Deeply, irreparably wrong. That afternoon, while Marcus took Jacob to the park, Olivia returned to the nursery. Every step felt like descending into cold water. Her hands trembled as she opened the closet. She searched the shelves, the bins, the old baby clothes. Then she found it. tucked behind a box of diapers, a hospital bracelet. It was hers. Same name, same birth date. But the date of admission? June 2nd, 2020. She clutched it in her fist, breath stuttering. She began to dig more frantically now, ripping through drawers, scanning books, checking the backs of picture frames. In the bottom drawer of the dresser, behind a stack of burp cloths, she found a file folder. Inside, a discharge summary. Patient presented with acute postpartum psychosis. History of visual hallucinations, disorganized speech. Infant passed away due to SIDS 3 days after birth. Patient placed under 72-hour psychiatric hold for risk of self-harm. The name on the form was hers. But the child's name? Elias Monroe. Not Jacob. Her knees buckled. She didn't remember any of it. She stared at the name, the diagnosis, the word psychosis, until the letters swam. Then she heard the voice again, close to her ear now, like someone breathing against her skin. You were never alone. She screamed. From the baby monitor behind her, static flared. Then came the sound of a baby crying. Only it wasn't Jacob's cry. It was something else. Something colder. Something forgotten. Olivia ran. She didn't think. Her body just moved, propelled by terror. Down the stairs, into the backyard, barefoot on the cold grass. The hospital bracelet was still clutched in her hand. She didn't stop until the fresh air filled her lungs and the house was behind her, its windows dark and watching. She called Marcus. Come home. Now. Please. Bring Jacob. Her voice was shaking. Her words came out jagged, panicked. Marcus tried to calm her, but she hung up before he could finish. She couldn't be inside the house. Not alone. Not after what she'd seen. Not after what she remembered. Or didn't remember. She paced until his car pulled into the driveway. When he stepped out, Jacob bundled in his arms. Olivia nearly collapsed into him. You need to tell me the truth, she whispered. Marcus frowned. What are you talking about? You said I was sick, that I had postpartum stuff. But you never said I was hospitalized. You never said the baby died. He stiffened. His face paled. Where did you see that? In the nursery. In a drawer. Discharge papers. There was a name, Elias. I don't know who that is, Marcus. I don't remember a baby named Elias. But I'm starting to think I should. He looked away, jaw tight. You told me Jacob was our first, she said. He didn't answer. Did I have another baby? Her voice cracked. Did I lose him? Marcus lowered Jacob into his car seat in silence, then leaned against the hood of the car. He ran a hand down his face. You weren't supposed to see that, he said. So it's true. Yes. The ground seemed to tilt under her. I didn't lie, Marcus added quickly. You were in no shape to remember anything. After Elias died, you were gone, Liv. You kept talking to him, holding things that weren't there. They diagnosed you with postpartum psychosis and put you under a hold. When you came back, you didn't remember him. Not fully, just fragments. Dreams. We thought it was a blessing, that your brain was protecting you. You let me forget my own child, she said, barely above a whisper. Tears pooled in his eyes. You were going to kill yourself. You said you wanted to be buried with him. The doctors said not to trigger the memories, that if your mind chose to block it out, we should let it. Olivia backed away from him, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She could hear blood in her ears, feel the scream in her throat, stuck like a knife. I need to see his things, she said. No, Marcus said. They're gone. I got rid of them. After the diagnosis. I didn't want to risk. No, they're not, she said. They're still in the house. Marcus looked confused. I'm telling you, I threw it all away. Clothes, toys, everything. It's gone. She stared at him. I've been finding his things, she whispered. Photos, clothes, hospital bracelets. Marcus, something is putting them back. That night, Olivia didn't sleep. Neither did Marcus. They lay side by side in bed, eyes open in the dark, listening to silence, or something inside it. At 2:17 a.m., the baby monitor crackled. But this time, no crying came through. Just breathing. Slow. Wet. Too close to the mic. Marcus sat up. Olivia was already out of bed. They moved quietly, like sleepwalkers, past the nursery door. Jacob was still sleeping soundly, his chest rising and falling, the faint glow of the moonlight nightlight casting soft shadows on the wall. But the rocking chair was moving again. Neither of them touched it. I don't understand, Marcus whispered. There's nothing left. There shouldn't be anything. I didn't put that chair there, Olivia said. Did you? He didn't answer. Together, They stepped back into the hall, and Olivia pointed upward, to the ceiling hatch of the attic. "There's something up there," she said. They retrieved the ladder from the garage. Marcus climbed first, pushing open the hatch. The attic exhaled a puff of stale, cold air. Dust drifted down like ash. He flicked on his phone flashlight and disappeared into the dark above. A moment later, "Olivia," he called. His voice shook. You need to see this." She climbed, her fingers trembling on the rungs. When her head cleared the hatch, she saw it. A crib, an old one, wood chipped, the white paint flaking. It sat alone in the center of the attic, under a broken skylight where moonlight pooled around it like a spotlight. Inside the crib was a folded blue blanket with the name Elias embroidered on the edge. Olivia stepped forward, as if pulled by strings. Her hand hovered over the crib. Her breath fogged the air, and then she saw them. Photographs, scattered around the crib in a messy ring, dozens of them. All of her, holding a baby with the same birthmark. Photos she didn't remember taking. Photos of Elias. Some were torn, some stained, but one made her knees buckle. It was a photo of her standing in this attic, wearing the same robe she was wearing now. But the photo was old. The edges curled. The colors faded. It wasn't taken tonight. She turned to Marcus, who was staring, pale and wide-eyed. "I don't remember this," she said. "Any of this." And then, something moved in the corner of the attic. A flash of white cloth. A hand. A child's face. They spun toward it, but nothing was there. Just the dark. Then the air changed. Cold. Heavy. From the shadows came a whisper. Closer now. No longer plaintive. Angry. "You left me." The bulb in Marcus's flashlight burst. Darkness swallowed them. And behind them, the crib creaked. Something had climbed into it. They bolted. Down the attic ladder. Across the hall. Slamming the nursery door behind them. Olivia clutched Jacob to her chest, while Marcus locked the deadbolt. The house seemed to breathe around them, walls creaking like ribs under pressure. Olivia's pulse throbbed in her ears. She wanted to scream. She wanted to wake up. But Jacob was real. The cold in the attic had been real. And Elias had been real, too. She felt him now, like a bruise deep in her memory. They stayed up the rest of the night, the lights on in every room, Olivia holding Jacob so tightly that he whimpered in his sleep. By morning, Marcus was packing bags. "We're leaving," he said. "Today." But Olivia wasn't looking at him. She stood at the nursery door, eyes fixed on the floorboards. The voice had come from below before. Not above. Not from the attic. From under the house. "Marcus," she whispered. "What's beneath this room?" He frowned. "The crawl space." "What?" She didn't answer. She dropped to her knees and began knocking on the floorboards. One by one. Listening. Until one sounded hollow. Her nails scraped the edge of the board. She found a seam. She pulled. The board came up with a groan, revealing darkness beneath. And something wrapped in plastic. Marcus grabbed her arm. "Liv, don't." But it was too late. She reached into the void, her fingers closing around the bundle, and pulled it out. It was a small, dust-covered box. A child's memory box. The kind hospitals give to grieving mothers after a stillbirth or early infant loss. The name, Elias Monroe, was written in faded marker on the lid. Olivia opened it with trembling hands. Inside, a pair of tiny socks. A lock of dark hair sealed in a plastic bag. A birth certificate. A death certificate. And a note. Handwritten. Torn. Stained with something she didn't want to guess. "I'm sorry. I don't remember what I did. I only wanted the crying to stop. I only wanted sleep. I didn't mean to." It cut off. No signature. No ending. Just a jagged rip through the bottom half. Olivia began to shake. Her mind felt like it was splitting open, cold light flooding in. "Liv, put it down," Marcus said. "Please. You're not ready." She turned to him slowly. "Did I kill him?" He didn't answer. The silence screamed. "Did I kill our son?" She was sobbing now, clutching the note, the photos, the tiny socks, as if they could anchor her to something real. "I don't know," Marcus said finally. "I came home and found you on the floor. The baby was gone. You were singing to something that wasn't there." Tears streamed down his face. "I wanted to believe it was Sid's. That's what the coroner said. But you wouldn't let go. You kept asking where the crying was coming from. You kept saying he was under the floor." The floor. Olivia looked down again. The voice returned, this time from inside her own mind. "You stopped hearing me. So I had to scream." That night, Olivia set an alarm for 2 a.m. She needed to know. Marcus didn't understand, but he didn't try to stop her. He just watched her from the doorway as she taped the photo of Elias to the nursery wall, then placed the memory box in the crib next to Jacob's. "If you really think something's haunting us," he said, "this won't help." But Olivia wasn't sure it was a haunting. Not in the traditional sense. Something inside her had been trying to wake up. Something buried. Something forgotten on purpose. And now, it was almost free. At 1:59 a.m., Olivia sat in the hallway, watching the nursery door. 2 a.m. came. Nothing. 2:13 a.m. The lights flickered. The baby monitor crackled. Then, without warning, Olivia stood. But not of her own will. She was moving, her feet gliding across the floor like a marionette, her limbs heavy, her eyes wide and unfocused. She was sleepwalking. From somewhere deep in her skull, she was watching herself. Like a passenger in her own body. She entered the nursery. The rocking chair was moving. She didn't touch it. She walked to the crib, leaned over, and picked up the memory box. Then she began to hum. A lullaby. "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." Her voice was low, unrecognizable, hollow. And then, her hand reached down and brushed Jacob's cheek. He stirred. Her fingers began to close around his tiny neck. She screamed inside herself. "No, stop." Her body froze. Her hand trembled. Then, suddenly, control snapped back. She yanked her hand away as if burned, stumbled back from the crib, gasping for air. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing, her whole body shaking. Marcus burst in seconds later, panic on his face. "What happened?" She pointed to the baby monitor. He picked it up. The screen was black, but the audio was still on. From the speaker came a sound like static or breathing. Then, a child's voice. This time, clear as glass. "Mommy, why did you try to smother me?" Olivia dropped the box. The sound stopped. The room went still. Jacob was asleep, untouched, safe. But Olivia knew now. The voice wasn't a ghost. It was her own memory, her fractured mind, forcing the truth to surface piece by piece. And if that memory was real, then Elias didn't die of SIDS. He died because of her. Because of a moment. A break. A forgotten scream. The crying wouldn't stop. The sleep deprivation. The hallucinations. The belief that something was wrong with the baby. She stood up slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "I tried to kill him." And from behind her, in the corner of the nursery, a small shadow stepped forward. A child's silhouette, eyes glowing softly in the moonlight. But Olivia didn't scream. She only stared, because she recognized him. And she remembered what she did. The figure in the corner stood still, small, fragile, human-shaped but pale, almost translucent. The silhouette of a toddler, no more than 2. Elias. Olivia didn't speak. She couldn't. Her throat had closed like a fist around her breath. But Elias did. "Mommy," he said softly. Her knees buckled. "I didn't want to go in the dark," he whispered. "But you stopped listening." Tears ran down her cheeks. "I didn't know," she said. "I swear to God, I didn't know. I don't even remember." "You made it quiet," he said, not accusing, not angry. "Just sad. You were crying," Olivia sobbed. "All night. Every night. I hadn't slept in days. I thought you were. I thought you were broken. You wouldn't eat. You wouldn't stop." She was on the floor now, on her knees, reaching toward him. "I thought I was helping you." The room grew colder. Elias stepped closer, into the moonlight. His eyes were huge and sorrowful. His skin glowed like fog. "You put me under the bed," he said. "You covered my mouth. You said you just needed sleep." The scream she had buried in her body for years finally rose up and tore through her. "I'm sorry," it echoed through the house. From the hallway, Marcus rushed in, saw her on the floor, but saw nothing else. "Olivia, what's happening? Who are you talking to?" She looked up at him, sobbing uncontrollably. "I killed our son," she whispered. "I killed him." Marcus dropped to his knees beside her, grabbing her arms, shaking his head. "No, no, Liv, don't say that. You didn't." "I did. I smothered him. I don't remember all of it, but I know now. I thought he was broken. I thought he wasn't real. I thought someone had replaced him." She turned toward the crib where Jacob was still sleeping, untouched. "I see his face every time I look at Jacob," she whispered. "But I made myself forget. I let myself forget. And now the memory was back. All of it. The sleepless nights. The voices. The belief that the baby was some kind of imposter. That something dark had taken her real child. She'd held the pillow over Elias's face, whispering lullabies to drown out the screaming. And then silence. Silence for years. Until now. The shadow of Elias was gone. But Olivia felt him still. Inside her. Not haunting. Not punishing. Just waiting. They took her to the hospital the next day. Voluntarily. She confessed everything. The suppressed psychosis. The murder. The cover-up. There was no trial. The statute of limitations didn't apply. There was no denying what she had done. Olivia Monroe was committed to a long-term psychiatric facility under intensive care. Marcus was granted full custody of Jacob. He visits Olivia once a month. Sometimes she's lucid. Sometimes she's not. But she always asks the same question. Does he cry at night? And Marcus always lies. Because yes, Jacob does cry. Every night, at exactly 2:13 a.m. And on the baby monitor, when the static clears, sometimes, he hears two babies crying.